Welcome to Archeotech Assimilation, where we discover and investigate the technology of the Imperium and the tools of chaos. Hello everyone, and welcome to Iron and Ceramite present Archeotech Assimilation. My name is John, and I'm joined today by Glenn. Hello mate, how are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. And you join us for the final episode, episode 10 of Angels of Death. So I think it's been a really good series and a great introduction alongside the Hammer and Bolter to the upcoming animations and stuff we're getting. How have you found it, mate?
Overall, really good. Preferred the Hammer and Bolter stuff, to be honest. I got a little bit sick of the artistic style, to be fair.
Oh, really?
It's just not like when I first seen it, I was like, oh, this is cool, this is different. But then as like more stuff started to explode, it became more difficult to watch.
Yeah, I get that. There's a scene, and I'll put a picture up in a minute, of like, I would say that this show is 90% great, and then there's like when the animation lets it down, it sort of takes you out of the immersiveness of the show, like, because I guess it's their first time round, so you sort of let them off. But if we get to like 3 or 4 shows in and the animation's still suffering, like, so I think the biggest culprit is Livia, the captain. Her mouth just is terrible when she talks. She's got the worst sort of I can't think of how to describe it. The sync of her speech and her movement are out.
I must admit, I noticed that in the first one, but as it's gone on, I've not really paid attention to it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether my brain's going, it's not right, but don't worry about it, or it's just not as bad as it was to start with.
Yeah.
But I won't say bad for her because I fucking love her. She is a legend.
I mean, it's not that bad. It's like that's just me being really picky. Overall, like I said, I thought this was great. I'm glad that it's done, and as I've mentioned before, I hope they release it as one episode, so you could keep the 10 episodes, but I hope they release it as one movie on the channel.
Yeah, it'd be good that way.
Yeah. When I say I'm glad it's done because I want to watch it all the whole way through, not because I'm sick of it. Yeah, so obviously what we will do is on the next episode of the podcast, when we're all together again, we'll definitely all talk about it, because I know we've all been in some of the videos, but we've not all done it together apart from maybe episode 1. So yeah, we'll go over everybody's thoughts on it so far in a later episode. But for now, we'll go through this one, and as always, we'll go through the beats of the episode, talk to you about what we liked and didn't like. So take this as your spoiler warning. So this one was fairly short compared to the others because we're wrapping up. Quite a lot has happened over the last couple of days. I think they've been on the planet a couple of days. That's about fair.
It's hard to tell time-wise.
Yeah.
Like, I think above the planet for a little while, but like the actual story that they've told, I think is probably could even be hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah, possibly. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, so it's been a busy couple of hours then, if it is a couple of hours. Yeah, so we're just going to wrap up. So kicking into gear, pre-credits, the camera pans across the windy but now peaceful city, up through the tower where we find Kazarian, who suddenly wakes back up after being taken down by the Broodlord in the final battle. So we were talking about it before. We thought he might have died, but obviously he just got wiped out. He gazes across and sees the lifeless body and the ruined body as well of Ancaeus. So obviously he's devastated because they finally got along. They got over their differences and they were getting along. And unfortunately he's died. So after the credits, the Sword of Baal is now free, orbiting around the tower. The ship mistress Livia, she gets told that 96% of the enemy have been wiped from the ship. She orders them to keep the purge going and to find Hadriel. If there's a working fund, Hawk, we want a rescue sent out for the remaining Blood Angels. Hadriel finds the down dreadnought Ignis, who actually took a horrific beating, as well as getting dragged down in the last episode. He actually got ripped to shreds. His sarcophagus was ripped open. His heart is exposed. Hadriel desperately tries to fix him, and the dread tells him that he's cold and didn't think he'd ever feel the cold breeze again. And he says that he wishes he could have seen the skies of his homeworld one last time before his lights go out and he dies for the second time. So a bit of emotional blow there for you, Glenn. And all that build up to the dreadnought, we only got it for like 2 minutes in that last episode.
Yeah,
that was a tease.
I was a little bit disappointed with the amount of dreadnought smashing, but he done his job. I think they played it quite well. They just waded through the infantry and eventually got dragged down by sheer numbers. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I just wanted a little bit more, but hey. Anyway, so Khazarian is looking over Ancaeus and the dead Broodlord next to him, and the other two only surviving Blood Angels enter, telling him that the enemy is broken and gone. But they're shocked when they realise that Ancaeus is dead, and they sadly report that Captain Orfeo was also cut down. They decide to signal for rescue, but they're concerned that the disruptions will hinder them. And our Mechanicum adept appears and tells them that she can help them. The Astartes initially aim their bolters at her, and Khazarian blames her for bringing them here and leading Orfeo to his demise. She agrees with them and says that she's the means that the Xenos wiped out. She's also the means of getting them off this planet. And she turns to a servitor who's holding the relic she's been hoarding, and puts her hands on it, telling Khazarian to speak now. And with that, a message arrives on the bridge with the voice of Khazarian saying that they endure. Much celebration and rejoicing going on the ship. Everyone goes mad for it. And they send out a rescue ship, and the adept tells Khazarian she'll be going with them and wants to hurry up off this planet. And Khazarian says that we won't leave until we've recovered all of our dead brothers. And later, once they are recovered, Khazarian and one of the other angels are standing at the altar where the helmet of Raphael and the swords of Ancaeus and Orfeo have been placed. And they obviously tell each other the usual Space Marine thing, that their deeds will be etched in the stone halls of honor. And Khazarian's lamenting that it's going to be a very quiet trip home with no librarian to encourage them and no captain to lead them. And the other guy actually says that he should take Ancaeus' sword and honor him by using that in the future, but he puts it back down in the end. So I don't know if he'll come back and grab it later.
It's only a bog standard sword. It's not even a power sword. So,
no, you'd want Orfeo's.
Yeah, take that. He's going to be leading them going forward, so he might as well take the good sword.
Yeah. Do you think he won't be sergeant? He'll be a captain after this? He get promoted?
No, it's Games Workshop. Lieutenant.
Oh, lieutenant. Apology. Yeah. They didn't have a lieutenant with them here, did they? No one had that rank.
It was like 11 of them, so they might have had a lieutenant at one.
Yeah, it was.
But they got a bit of a kick in before the story actually started. So, yeah.
No, fair enough. Good point. Anyway, right. So Hadriel and the Magos are working in his lab, trying to bring another dreadnought online. It powers up briefly, but cuts out before going online properly. Initially, the identity is unknown, and Hadriel suggests there was a miscalculation, but the Magos says there was no miscalculation. Iron endures where flesh fails, and with that, the dread comes back to life and booms the words, "In blood we are born, and in battle we are remade," and the name of the dread is revealed as Orfeo. And Hadriel reports to Khazarian that the deed is done. The survivors then gather on the bridge as Khazarian quotes their Primarch Sanguinius, and they prepare a missile that takes out that wretched tower, and they make ready to turn home. And down in one of the fan shafts, we see that a gene stealer is still alive and well before we cut to the credits. So Orfeo endures still. not quite the same, but we lose one dread and gain another.
Yeah.
And the Gene Stealer on board spells trouble. I think if they don't find all of them before they get back home, then the Blood Angels could be bringing. It's like Alien; they're bringing it home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, they did also get rid of all of the ones in the previous episode by venting the ship. So they ripped off a bit of Alien with this one.
Yeah. So possible sequel, just from this maybe.
Possible. I think it was always going to be the case that there will be a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Depending
on how well it's been received.
Yeah.
Well, I would rather see them go on to fight something else rather than, yay, more Tyranids. Like,
yeah.
See them go up with the orcs or something like that.
That'd be good.
Get a proper, good, brutal, visceral fight. Whereas this was a lot of boulder porn, a lot of shooting.
Yeah. So the next series will be black and white, red and green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red and green go very well together. They contrast each other very well.
Well, speaking of maybe sequels or find something else, obviously we have our credits, but then it comes back. We get another little teaser. The Magos is skulking around the ship and enters a sealed chamber where her artifact was contained. She places her hand on it because we know now that it's some sort of communication device, and she sends a message to the Archmagos. She tells him that she located the Blackstone Labyrinth key, and despite the time delay, she expects their plans to come to fruition. The machine knows all. Praise the machine. And the box opens, releasing the pyramid-shaped piece, which I assume is the key, and the episode ends. So, what do you make of that ending there?
I only know bits and pieces about the Blackstone fortresses. I'm not too up to date with like the more recent lore of them.
Yeah.
They are like ridiculously powerful, like planet destroying fortresses. Like Abaddon has one as part of his flotilla, and I know there's an entire game of Games Workshop based on one.
Well, Shane's into it, isn't he? He's got a lot of the models. I think he's got the game actually.
Yeah, he probably does have the game. So I don't know, like that side of stuff. I don't know where they're at with that. But yeah, it looks like they've found a key to either get into or activate a Blackstone fortress, which would be massive for whichever side gets it. And if the mechanic gets it, they don't like to share too much. So it's not like they turn against the Imperium, but yeah, the Imperium are probably like, we want to use this. Then it's always.
Yeah. Well, she's very she's like all through this, she was very odd. I know like her means was to get off the planet with the key and get it back home. But she's very secretive and very like, I don't know, untrustworthy. So you don't know necessarily, she could be Dark Mechanicum and we just don't know.
Possibly. There was a little bit of me was sort of almost expecting like right at the end when she had like got the pyramid out that she would take her hood down and she'd have like the little wrinkly Gene Stealery bits on the top of her head. But obviously didn't. No, I don't think she's Dark Mechanicum. I think she's just weird because the Mechanicum are a little bit detached. So they haven't got that level of humanity built into like the characters. So it's a bit like, I don't quite get your motives, but their motives are their motives because it's the logic of the machine rather than the humanity.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like she obviously sort of experimented on Orfeo, but kept him alive, probably against his will and wishes. The way that she done it for, I don't know. She made him more machine because machines are superior, and not that he would agree. And now he's stuck in a sarcophagus. Yeah. Thanks to her. Yeah, it was good, and they could definitely do a second season following this. Like maybe they don't make it home. They'll need to find some more Blood Angels because there's only 4 of them left.
They need a they need a resupply and I think they're going to have to get back to battle before they have any kind of, because not funny, 4 not enough.
No,
really not enough to sort of, at least not to forge a story around that involves a lot of killing.
No.
But yeah, the episode, the only thing I've got about this episode though is it was a little bit anticlimactic.
Yeah.
It did feel really like a wrapping up episode rather than like a culminating episode.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's because the thing is, it was always going to be a episode 9. Obviously, ended with the big bad the big bads getting killed, and main characters finally like getting offed and stuff.
Yeah,
this was always going to be the episode of right. Well, obviously now they've got to go, and this is what I'm saying. Like, there's been the problem with the Dave really didn't like the episode 5 or 6 where it jumped right back to the beginning. Because it's like you're waiting a week between watching episodes, it does feel disappointing, because although it has been really good, it was a right. Well, this is the last. This is the Hobbits leaving the Shire, or Bilbo leaving the Shire at the end of Lord of the Rings. But if you watch the whole thing as one, then it's fine. It's the end of a movie.
Yeah.
But on an episode on its own, it is very much okay. It's not really a season finale, is it? Episode 9 was the finale. This is
I thought that like a Game of Thrones style thing. You know, you had some big epic moments, and then the last episode was a little bit
yeah,
you know, but it wasn't bad. It was just felt a little bit lacking.
Yeah. Well, there was no killing. We wanted no killing. Well, we got to see that tower get blown up. That was fun. Yeah, I was expecting them to try and blow the planet up, but then I don't think their ship was powerful enough to carry, or big enough to carry anything to do that.
Not a single ship.
No, but it was good. But I think a good series, definitely a good first full series for Warhammer Plus, and I just hope that the animation improves and changes. I mean, we saw the mini clips from before they even launched, and everything did look very different. So I think this is just one style choice.
Yeah.
But I wonder,
of animation coming.
I wonder what we're going to get next. Do you reckon it'll be more Hammer and Bolter or straight into something new?
I don't know, but probably more Hammer and Bolter.
Yeah.
I would imagine, because it's sort of out there. I mean, has there been six or so episodes?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So yeah, we'd probably expect another maybe 4 of them, maybe 4. I don't know. But yeah, because I just want to see some of the other ones now.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember specifics, but I remember watching the sort of the teaser videos and hearing about what was coming out. I was thinking, really like the sound of that, really like the sound of that. So I know there's some stuff that is going to be good when it comes out, or I expect to be good when it comes out. It's just now that waiting game of what's next.
Well, they've been releasing images of the characters for the new Black Templar series, so that could be next, or that could just be what they're working on down the line. And I remember, obviously, the big thing they were plugging before it launched was the Tau series, but I can't remember what it was. The Expedite, I think it was called. So that might be next as well. But if you do want to refresh yourself, Ben,
Codex coming out sometime soon.
Say again.
Codex coming out sometime soon.
Possibly, yeah.
I'm
not too sure.
Oh no. Yeah, possibly next year. Early next year. So yeah, that's probably when we'll see the time again.
So Templars will probably be next, seeing as they've been on a massive Templars purge into the ether for us.
No, Templars don't need any more. You got no models. You don't need a goddamn animated series as well.
Yeah. Well,
let's see some bad guys. Let's see some chaos stuff.
If you want to refresh yourself, Glenn, on all the series that they were talking about, you can go to our YouTube channel and look at the Warhammer Plus video that we made when they first announced everything, which I will very cleverly tag onto the end of this video.
I'm sure that was an excellent podcast that we did.
Yeah, it definitely was one of the best, and I will put the link at the end of this video. But we'll leave you guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll leave you with our usual little plug of everything. Go and follow us everywhere at Iron and Ceramite. Stick us into Google and you'll find us. Instagram, use the hashtag Iron and Ceramite when you post something, and we'll share it in our stories. We're on Facebook if you want to come and chat to us on there. We're on Twitter, same thing. YouTube, you're obviously watching us, so please subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends. We have a podcast, like we mentioned, that's on YouTube, or you can listen along on Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts. We've got Twitch, we've got a Patreon. If you buy your hobby stuff from Element Games, click on the link in our description below and buy it through there. Or you can go and battle with Shane and Glenn on combat cards. I don't know, I think you're at the top, are you, Glenn?
No, it's Shane.
Oh, and the last thing to mention, make sure on Monday you check out the Hobby Roundup, Monday the 6th, and then the video that comes out after that is Tom's painting competition, Artificer's Quest. Details of how to enter and what to do will be out then, so make sure you check it out. But other than that, we'll say goodbye. Thanks for joining.
Bye.
As always, we would like to thank you for listening to our Iron and Ceramite podcast. If you liked us, then you can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and any other good podcast services. Just remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.